Welcome to the Richard Lloyd USA YouTube channel. I'm Richard Lloyd. Today I'm going to make a video on how to create a Wi-Fi extender, also sometimes called a Wi-Fi repeater, from this TP Link WR841N. I showed various videos on this, on how to put third-party firmware onto this router, and you will need that third-party firmware on this router in order to accomplish what I show you in this video. And that firmware is called DD-WRT. I'll put a link for it up at the top of the screen and also at the end of the video on how to put DD-WRT on this router, which is required prior to doing anything in this video. So watch that one if you don't have the third-party firmware in this thing. Also, another warning, do not use this router with the stock TP Link firmware. There are 41 known vulnerabilities in the stock firmware. And if you plug this thing into your network and into the internet, it probably won't go well for you, because it's very hackable. Let's put it that way. But once you put DD-WRT into it, it is not hackable anymore. It's secure and you can use it for as long as you wish. So please make sure you do that, regardless of whether you turn it into a Wi-Fi extender repeater, as I show in this video, or not. Definitely go watch that and turn it into something that's secure. Okay. So what is a Wi-Fi extender? Well, I'll show you what I got here. This is my diagram of it, and basically what it's going to do is connect this router, the WR841N and ND sometimes it's called, to your home network router. And basically at that point, it will extend the range of the Wi-Fi in your network. In other words, well, I'll show you another picture here. If you have a router, let's say, and it's down in, well, in this case, they have it in the kitchen, but it could be anywhere, and it only reaches about half your house. If you plug this thing in as an extender or a repeater, and it can connect to your Wi-Fi router through Wi-Fi, of course, it will further extend or rebroadcast the Wi-Fi signal further. So it'll allow people in the further reaches of your house to get Wi-Fi access that wouldn't normally be able to do so. You can extend it to your garage, you can extend it to your backyard. That's another thing that people don't know. Even though this is an old router, it's like I think 11 years old now. It is 2.4 gigahertz, which people don't know this, but 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi has a much longer range, further range than the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, primarily because it's a lower frequency, and lower frequencies travel further. So even though it's slower, it's plenty fast for most things, and it will extend your network further than 5 gigahertz will. So pretty cool that way, and not bad for something you can pick up on eBay for like less than $10. Okay, so again, DD-WRT is required. Here's what it's going to do here on the screen, and anything you connect to it will be connected to your primary network, and it won't even know that it's connected through this extender. It's basically invisible to all those devices. They just think they're connected to your home network router. Okay. Also on the back of this router, I'll show you those pictures here. Right here, you'll see there's 5 ports. You'll be able to use all 5 of those ports to connect anything you want. Okay. A printer, a monitor, whatever. Anything that's Ethernet that can be connected to your home router can be connected to the back of this router or repeater extender, and connect to the internet and all the devices in your home network. So pretty cool. Basically what you get is a 5-port Wi-Fi switch. Really cool, right? And you can make a network node from that. So yeah, if you need Wi-Fi someplace in your home or in wherever it is, and your router is not reaching it, if you place this about halfway between where it's not reaching and where your router is, it will connect to your router and then extend the Wi-Fi much further. It's pretty cool. So let's get back to what we need to know. Okay, so yeah, here's what it's going to be. It can hook phones, laptops, printers, you name it. It can also be used as a Wi-Fi Ethernet adapter. So what I mean by that is I have a printer that isn't Wi-Fi, but if I connect this thing to it through the Ethernet adapter, it connects to my network through Wi-Fi. So pretty cool. I can put that printer anywhere I want, connect this thing to it as an extender, and that's it. It's on the network, right? I don't have to run a cable across my house. So that's a pretty neat solution to that problem. All right, what we're going to do is, first of all, before we start, we got to gather some information and get this router ready to go. Okay, let's start with connecting it. Let's go back over here. You're going to need an Ethernet cable to connect it. It has to be physically connected to your computer with an Ethernet cable. It can go into any one of the yellow, orange, well, I guess that's orange ports on the back of the router. We can't use the blue one yet. After we've configured it as a repeater and extender, we can use any of these ports to connect anything we want. But currently we need to use one of the four yellow LAN ports, 1, 2, 3, or 4. There's the reset too. We're going to need to use that in a second. I'll show you that. The other side of the Ethernet cable has to be plugged into your laptop or your computer and through an Ethernet port like this. And if you don't have one on your laptop or whatever you're using or PC, if you don't have an Ethernet connection, you can buy one for about $10 from Amazon. I have one here, and I'll put links for that stuff in the video description. And this is USB-A, I believe. Plus, if you take it apart, there's USB-C as well. So if you're limited to C, or if all you've got is the C port, then you can still use one of these on your laptop. Pretty cool, right? And very fast as well. So we've got it connected like this. That's perfect. I'm going to connect mine here. It's powered up. Yours should be powered up too. And of course, like I said, got to have DD-WRT in it. There it is. I got it connected. And you can see here, it's connecting to Ethernet. Let that happen. And so that's connected now. We're ready to go with that. Next thing you need to do, actually, what I'm going to do is disconnect that for a second. Getting ahead of myself here. We got to do some discovery. In other words, we need to get some information from your network to make sure that everything's going to go right. Okay. So on DD-WRT, when you first install it, the IP address of the router is going to be 192.168.1.1. But that's also the IP of my current internet router. So you can't have two on the same network. So I'll show you how to handle that here in a minute. So what we first want to do is find out what network your home router is on. So for me, I'm just going to connect to my home router through Wi-Fi. You can connect through Ethernet or Wi-Fi. It's okay. Basically, all we're doing is some discovery here. So here's my primary home router. I'm going to hit connect. There we are. We're connected. Now at this point, we can go to search here. And just type into this view network connections. You can see that I've already done this a couple times, but if you haven't, just type in view network connections and it'll come up. So then we're going to go there. Now you can see that I've got Bluetooth here, nothing going on there. Ethernet and Ethernet 2. So I got two Ethernet connections on this computer, but I'm only going to be using one, and none of them are actually active right now. But the Wi-Fi is. So whichever one of yours is actively connected to your network, just right click it, choose status, go to details, and you'll see a bunch of numbers and stuff here. The ones that matter, number one is your current IP address, 192.168.1.103. That's important. Just write that down somewhere. But what we need to get this all configured is this number, the gateway IP address, 192.168.1.1 in my case. Yours might be different, and I'll show you why that's important. Whatever yours is, I'll show you how to handle it and make this happen, okay? So just write down what you got here for the default gateway. The DHCP server, DNS server should all be the same number. If they're not, well, then you got some kind of funky network configuration, and you'll have to figure this out on the way. But if you put the numbers in that I'm telling you to use to configure the repeater, it should work for you anyway, but give it a shot. So here we're going to hit close. We've got that information. Next thing we're going to do is close this up. I'm just going to minimize this so I don't have to go searching for it again. And then what we're going to do is type into the search again, This time we're going to type in CMD, which is command prompt. I'm going to run that as administrator. There we go. And here we're going to just say yes to this. Okay, we get a DOS window. And what I'm going to type into this window is it's just a simple command, ARP space dash or hyphen dash A. Okay, so ARP hyphen dash A. I'll bring that up here. I have it right here on my notepad. So put that in and then just hit enter. Oops, let's try enter again. There we go. You got to click on the box before you hit enter. And you can see there's my interface IP address, the one that we saw in the status window. A bunch of numbers here, 192.168.1.1. Well, that's going to be my router. 255 is a broadcast IP address. Don't ever use that for anything. Usually the computer won't let you. And everything else is outside of my network. And the network being 192.168.1. That's the network portion of the IP address. This is the node portion of the IP address. So we can use 192.168.1.2 for the router. I'll show you I'll go back to my pictures here. There's the reset for the router. You're going to need to know that because we're going to reset the router. And basically what you do with the router is just turn it on, power it up, wait for it to finish booting, and then hold the reset button down for about 20 seconds. 15 to 20 seconds should do it. And then that just resets it to the default settings of DD-WRT. Sorry. Oops. A little far ahead there. Okay. So if your primary router is on 192.168.0.1, then the extender has to be on 192.168.0. Again, this is the network portion. .2. It can't have the same IP address as the primary router. If you do that, you'll create a conflict and you'll knock both of them off the network and it will create havoc in your network. So it has to be different. The extender has to be on a different IP address. Now, in my case, it's 192.168.1.1. That's the primary router IP address. And so the extender has to be on anything else other than that. I'm using 2 because it's convenient. It's the next available IP address. That's what that ARP space dash A command shows you, is that no one's using, there's no network device on my network using that IP address, right? It's free to be used, so you can use it. Now, if you have something like 192.168.5.1, then you're going to need to use 192.168.5.2 or any other number up to 254. You can't use 255, okay? So that's how you handle those numbers. Okay, go back to my notepad. So here's the information from DD-WRT for the router. By default, it's going to be on 192.168.1.1. So when we reset it, that's where it's going to be. Okay, you need to change it to be appropriate to your network, as I just showed you. In my case, I've got it all here written down. Yours, just write it down or put it on a notepad. And if it's the same as mine, well, then you don't need to do anything. So, okay, so we did the ARP-A. The next thing you're going to need is your Wi-Fi name. In my case, if you go down here to router, you can see that I'm connected to primary home router 2.4 G, right? Gigahertz. So that's my primary router. And it has to be the 2.4 gigahertz, Wi-Fi, okay? Because this router is 2.4 gig and it can't connect to 5 gigahertz, okay? So, and the Wi-Fi password for your router as well, because we have to connect this extender to your router's Wi-Fi. All right, so we physically connected the router. I'm going to connect it again, and then we're going to reset it. There it is, connected. There are 2 ways to reset it. Number 1 is the physical way. That's hold down the reset button for 15 seconds, and then off you go. The other way I'll show you here in a sec is to go into the interface and actually, if you know the IP address of your router, you just go into the interface. I'll do that right now, and I got to disconnect because I'm actually in the wrong router here. I'm going to disconnect from my network. There we go. and turn off Wi-Fi because I want to connect directly to this router. And in my case, it's on a different IP address anyway. I could have just left it, but I'm just going to go to, I've already configured this thing about 10 times just to make sure I got it right, and it works. So mine is on 192.168.1.2, which is where it's going to be after we're done. And I believe I put admin here. There we go. And if you want to check and see, you see here, TP Link WR841N version 9. That's what I have. So we're in it. It works. Here we're just going to go to factory defaults, then just choose restore factory defaults. But the easiest way is to hold the reset button down for, 12 seconds. Okay, so I'm just going to hit save and apply. There we go. Now remember, we're not connected to your network I'm not connected to my network anymore, and neither should be you. We should just be connected to the router, the TP Link WR841N by itself. No Wi-Fi, nothing. We're working with the router itself by itself. Now, it's going to reboot, and it's going to come back up on the IP address, the default IP address, which is always going to be 192.168.1.1. So here, I'm just going to copy it. Here we go. And just paste it in here. There we are. And of course, I've been here 1,000 times, so the browser remembers it. Let's see if it's booted up yet. I think it is. Let's go. There it is. So once you reset it, you come to this default screen, which basically lets you reset the router, or I set the admin, the username and the password. So you're going to do that, and in my case, I'm just going with admin, and then put whatever password you want. Don't forget it, and remember not to have your cap locks on when you do that, because then you'll just have to, you won't be able to get into the router. You'll just have to reset it again and come back and do this correctly. So let's do that. Now it will ask you for that username and password again. So in my case, I used admin, and I'll put my password in here. You put in yours, and voila, we're into it again. So wireless, all this stuff. I'm gonna refresh this because I'm missing information here, and that's probably because of the browser. So I'm gonna close that up, open that up again. New private window. Again, 192.168. Well, actually, I'll just paste it. That's Control V. There we go. And it will probably ask me for the password again. Yep. Put it in. There we go. And now I've got the tabs I require. So it was some sort of caching thing on the browser. Okay. So we've got it all up, ready to go. You've reset it. We're into it fresh. You always reset it to the factory defaults because I find that the old settings kind of linger around. So if you do the reset to factory defaults, we're done, ready to go. So first thing we're going to do here is just disable this automatic connections. Just disable it because we're not connecting through a hard connection to your network. We're going to do it through Wi-Fi. We're disabling that connection because we're going to use that as one of the connections that we can use on the back of the router. DD-WRT, well, you can change the name to whatever you wish. Leave this all alone. It's more or less okay. Here, we're going to change this from 192.168.1.1 to 192.168.1.2. You change it to 0.2 or whatever you have on your network, and if it's the same, just follow along. Here's the default gateway is what we saw in the status window, 192.168.1.1. Okay, and yeah, if you want to go through these boxes, use the tab key to go through them. 192, tab to the next one, 168.1.1. Okay, so then we're going to go down here to DHCP server, uncheck these two boxes, and disable this. Okay, we're going to use the DHCP server on your router, and if you don't know what that is, it doesn't matter because it'll happen automatically anyway, right? So here I'm going to change my time zone. I'm in U.S. Central. I'm in Texas, so here I'm going to hit and until I tell you do not hit the save and apply, because then you'll lose it, and then the router will be offline without DHCP if it doesn't connect, and then you will have to do this all over again. So the sequence that I'm doing, follow it exactly, because otherwise it'll just disappear on you and you'll go, oh, I hit save and apply. I need to restart and do this all over again. All right. So hit save only. Okay. We'll apply it later. Here we're going to go to advanced routing and change it from the operating mode from gateway to router, and then hit save. All right. Then we're going to go to, well, let's go to services here. Get the little stuff out of the way. Here we're going to disable DNS mask infrastructure. We're going to disable that. We're not using that, so let's not make the router do work it doesn't need to. If you don't know what telnet is and you don't use it, just disable that as well. The traffic counter, I don't think it really matters. I'll leave that alone. Hit save. Again, not save and apply, just save. And security, we're going to turn off the firewall. Again, not something we need running and consuming, CPU cycles on the router. You have a firewall on your primary router. All routers generally do. And, it'll be covered by this extender will be covered by that. All firewall all a firewall does is stop outside traffic from getting in. Well, this router is not going to be on the outside of your network. It's going to be on the inside. Actually, we're going to call it a repeater or extender. It's going to be on the inside of your network, so it doesn't need a firewall. So we'll turn that off. There we go. Still hitting save. All right. Next thing, important, we're going to go to wireless. Now, this is where it gets, tricky, but I'll see if I can explain it correctly. First, we're going to add a virtual app. So that's a virtual access point. And what this is going to be is basically the Wi-Fi interface between this router and the in your network. Okay, so basically what this is going to be, it's going to be the extender's name. So we're just going to call it, what do we call it? Let's call it, let's just call it I'm going to call it TP Link Extender 2.4G. That way you know what it is, and you know what frequency it's on. Here we're going to hit save, and I'll show you how to connect to all this and how it all works. Just hit save. Now, leave the radio mode the way it is as an access point. Here we're going to go up here, and we've got those two things set. Let's go set wireless security, and let's see here that it's disabled. So we're going to go to WPA on that, and then down here on this one, we're going to go to WPA on that. Here, again, we're going to hit save. All right. Then we're going to go to WPA2 and CC-MP128 AES. This is the most secure setting for this router, and it's secure anyway. So use these two settings definitely to set the security on this router. Okay. Hopefully your router has at least the capability of, accepting this connection, okay? If it does not, if all your other router does is WPA, then just click on that, but I don't need to. So if you have compatibility problems with this wireless configuration, just switch it up. Just check your Wi-Fi and see what it's using for security, okay? Because the two have to match, and this matches mine, and it's also the most secure setting you can put on this router. So here I'm gonna hit save again. And now you're getting WPA shared key. Well, that's going to be the password. On the top one, it's going to be the password for your primary router, your home router's Wi-Fi. So whatever that is, put it in here. So I'm going to do that here. There we go. I wonder if, I'm just going to type it in twice. And then on the bottom, you can put the same password. That's fine. It won't hurt anything to do that. And that's what I'm doing, just to keep things simple. Okay, wait. Yeah, all right, I was wondering what that was. There we go. All right. I've got both of them in there. You can hit save again and still don't hit apply. We're just, again, that apply button is only when you're done, right? So here we're going to go to basic settings again. And then we're going to change this from app to station bridge routed, okay? That's it. Then we're going to hit everything else. I think we can leave it alone for now. We're going to hit save. All right. Now you see that it's changed. Things have gone away and things have changed. So here we're going to choose manual on this radio button. And then we're going to put the gateway IP address, which in my case is 192.168.1.1. There, put your gateway IP address. If it's the same as mine, put it in there, right? But remember, hit manual and that. And then down here, what we're going to put in here is whatever your Wi-Fi router's username or SSID is. So basically this portion of the configuration is telling this little router what Wi-Fi connection we're going to be connecting to get internet and to connect to your network. In my case, it's going to be, well, I already wrote it down, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, right here. So primary router. So there we go. 2.4G. So I'm just going to copy it from here. You type it in. You know what your SSID on your Wi-Fi is. I'm just going to paste it in there and save myself a little bit of timing. Sorry. So yeah, it's primary router. Primary. Okay, so I got this wrong. There we go. It's primary home router 2.4G. And I can verify that here just by turning on my Wi-Fi. There it is, primary home router 2.4G, right? So that's what I'm connecting to. So this has to match, okay? So I turned the Wi-Fi off and I'm back to just my computer connected to this router. Now, yeah, I think we've got it all set at this point. Let's double check everything. So setup. You see that things have disappeared from the first page, right? So connection type disabled. Everything here looks correct. IP address is right. Yeah, that's exactly the way it should be. Advanced routing. We've got to set the router on operation mode. All else is left alone. Services, all turned off, except for traffic, and that doesn't matter. Security, SPI firewall is off. That's all cool. So everything here is off. Wireless, we have station bridge routed. My domain is the United States. If you're in a different country, of course, change the domain. And everything else looks right except for this. I guess I didn't hit save. So let's just type in, oh, actually, yeah. Primary home router 2.4G. So I'm going to hit save again. Now I've checked all my settings. Let's look at wireless security, make sure that that's still all set. Let's see. Yep. Well, there's passwords here. Everything's set correctly. Yep. All set. So here, what we're going to do, hit save and apply. And at this point, what's going to happen is that the router will no longer be on 192.168.1.1. It's going to be on 192.168.1.2. So I can do it here too. So save and apply. And it's going to take a little bit because the router will be rebooting at this point. It usually does. So if I hit refresh here, you'll see that nothing will come up, right? On top of that, you can see that Ethernet is also flashing down here because, as I said, the router's rebooting. Okay. And you see how this popped up on 192.168.1.1? Well, that's my primary router. So I already know that this router is this extender is connected to my primary network because otherwise I wouldn't be able to get to 192.168.1.1. Here I'm just going to hit cancel, and I'm just going to change this. It's pretty cool, right? We're already connected. So here we're going to go to 192.168.1.2. And there you go. Here we're going to go to administration. Of course, it's going to ask me to log in, admin, and put my password in. There we go. we're connected to it. And if you look at the setup, you see that it's the same. If you look at wireless, you see that that's the same. We're connected to it. TP Link extender 2.4G. And currently, we're connected to this router through Ethernet. You can see it down here, okay? So, mission accomplished, right? But I'm going to show you something. These 4 ports are available to anything you want to connect Ethernet to. But also, the blue port, which is usually used for internet access, is also now a LAN port as well. So I'm going to connect Ethernet to it, like that. And if you look down here, you can see that we're connected, right? Internet access, everything's cool. So let's go and do a little speed test, see how that goes. There we go. Remember, this is a 100 megabit 2.4G router, but you can see we're online, right? So if I take this Ethernet cable out from that port, we won't be able to do anything. Let's go to, let's use Fort Worth. Yeah, let's go. And it won't go anywhere. I'm going to hit allow on that. See, we're not connected anymore. It can't do the test. So reconnect it. And I am still using the blue port. And just so you know, the blue port, weirdly enough, is the fastest port on the back of that router. And I will show you how to use that blue port only if you want 5 more connections using a switch in a minute. But right now, let's just do the speed test. There we go. That's the one I want. Not bad, right? I mean, you know, it's a 100 megabit router and it's giving you 70 megabits connected through Wi-Fi. Like this router right now is only connected to my network using those 2 antennas. Not the Ethernet cable is going to the back of my computer, not to my network. So pretty good, right? You know, so there you go. You can see that you can plug Ethernet connections to the back of it and it works just fine, right? And you can actually make the Wi-Fi a little faster, and I'll show you that tweak right now, and let's see if it works. Come over here to your router, 192.168.1.2, go to Wireless tab and Basic Settings, and change this. Oh, look at that, and that's even changed. I got to put this back in here. Though it's working, I'm going to put it in anyway, 192.168.1.1. There we go. I'm going to hit... I don't know how I didn't save that, but I think I did. But regardless, anyway, that should be in there. Here I'm going to go from mixed to N only, and then I'm going to take this to wide 40 megahertz. Now you can play with these settings. Actually, I'm going to leave this on mixed. We'll come back to it and change it to N only. And I'm going to hit save. Then I'm going to hit save and apply. Now at this point, again, the router's radios will be rebooting, so I'll have to wait a little bit. And okay, so again, look at this screen. Make sure you got it set up this way. I don't know why it didn't take that 1.1 setting originally, but here we go. So I should be connected again. Let's go and do another test. That's a little better, right? 81, 83. We were getting 70s before. That's almost 90, like it's 15 megabits per second short of its fastest possible speed that this router can do, because it's only got 100 megabit ports on the back of it, and that's what we're connected to. So pretty cool, I think, and it's doing that through Wi-Fi. So that's a good little tweak. Let's go one more step further and take this from mixed to N only. And again, you know, this is bonus material just to show you that there are ways to make this even faster. And you always want it to be faster. But this may cause incompatibility with things you're trying to connect to it with. I've never had that problem. But again, if it does, just set it back to the original settings and you'll be fine. All right. Okay. And save and apply should be good. All right. We've got 86.25 and 41 megabits per second. Let's do another test. And like I said, if you change configurations and it slows down in some way, then change it back, right? And this looks like it's a little slower. So going from from mixed to N only seems to have slowed it down. So I'm going to set that back. Yeah. Well, 40 is pretty good. That's what it was before. But I'm going to set this back to mixed, which I believe is the better setting. You hit save, save and apply. There we go. Okay, so that's connecting to this thing through Ethernet, right? With the cable on the back of it. The other thing I wanted to show you here is that if I take that cable and put it on the orange ports, it won't be as fast. It's kind of a weird thing, right? But I'll show you a workaround on that. I got it plugged in there. Let's do the test one more time. See? Way slower, right? But still good enough for a printer and most devices. You know, this is fast enough to actually stream 4K video. Now, if 4 people are doing it, it's not fast enough. You need, you know, again, it'll do 1 TV, but it won't do 4, right? So, pretty cool. But just showing you that those ports are actually slower than the blue one. Now, if you want the full speed of the blue port on 4 other ports, here's how you do it. Okay, let me show you how you would go about that. All right, you get a little switch like this one. I got one here. This is a 5-port switch. It's like $10 on Amazon. Again, links in the video description below. This is a gigabit switch. Okay, so everything you connect to this will be a gigabit in speed outside of the router, because the router is only 100 megabit. It can't go a gigabit. Okay, but anything else that's connected to it will be going a gigabit in speed, but not through the router. Connecting to anything else that is connected to that switch, it will be a gigabit between those 2 devices, or 3 or 4 devices that you connect to it. But remember, going from the router or to the internet and to your home network through Wi-Fi, it won't be. So again, really fast little switch, $10, right? And so what I've got here is I've connected it to the blue port, which is the fastest port, almost twice as fast as these ones, and then into the switch. Now, anything I connect into that switch will get the full speed of that port. Now, again, not all 4 of them will get the full speed. They'll share the full speed of that port, which is better than, well, here they're sharing the, 40 megabits per second, maybe 50 on these ports. Better to share like almost 90 on this one, right? So, next, there you got it. I've got like 4 things connected to it, and off we go. That's how you work around these slower ports. Now, you can still connect 4 more things to the back of this router. So in a sense, you've got a Wi-Fi switch with a total of 8 ports here. Pretty cool, right? So again, that's how you work around that these slower ports if you don't want to use them, or again, if it doesn't matter to you, just rock and roll the way it is. So okay, we've got this done. Next thing I'm going to do is disconnect the Ethernet connection from it. Remember, it's a Wi-Fi extender, right? Which means you should be able to connect to it through Wi-Fi and then go on the internet, right? So let's do that. Okay, go to my Wi-Fi. We're going to turn it on. Yeah, turn it on here. And it should be in here. Let's see where it is. Ah, there it is. TP Link Extender 2.4G. That's what we called it, right? So now you know what we're going to connect to. Where did it disappear to? Did I connect to it already, or what's going on with that? Ah, there it is. Okay, so we're going to connect to that. Connect automatically, TP Link Extender. And I'll put my password in here. Next. And it's secured, so nobody can log into it without a password. It's not an open network. Let that connect. It's taking a while. So I must have messed up the password. Okay, give me a second. Let's fix that up. Let's see what my mistake was. I believe it's my password. Primary home router 2.4G. Like I said, everything has to be correct. So in my case, primary home router 2.4G is correct, I believe. Let's go take a look. Yeah, primary home router. And this is case sensitive as well, okay? So it has to be exactly the same as what you see over here on Wi-Fi, all right? So that's good. TP Link Extender 2.4G. So let's go to wireless security. More than likely, I've got, though I don't see how that would be wrong, the password incorrect. So let's do it again. Maybe I slipped. So when I was typing it in, very careful this time. Save and apply. There we go. And back here to Wi-Fi. There we are. So we're going to connect to the TP Link extender. Connect. All right. Should be asking me. There we go. I may have mistyped one of the two. There we go. Connected. Perfect. So I either messed it up here or I messed it up over there, but my apologies for that. And now you can see the router. We're connected to it, so on and so forth. I'm also connected through Ethernet, so disconnecting the Ethernet. Now we're only connected to it through Wi-Fi, and you can see that we should be able to still see it. Yep, there we are. And down here, you'll see it connected in Wi-Fi. TP Link Extender 2.4G. Yep. And let's go do a little speed test over here. Now that we're connected to it through Wi-Fi. Now, Wi-Fi won't be as fast as being connected through Ethernet on it, right? So let's see what happens. Yeah, it's pretty slow, right? But again, it's Wi-Fi. We're connecting to, basically repeating through two Wi-Fi routers. So it's going to be a little slower, right? Let's take this. So, Ethernet is the fastest way to connect to it. Let's go over here and see if we can do a little tweak on it. We're basically done at this point, but I just want to see if going to N only makes it faster. Save and apply. Here we go. And I'm going to turn the Wi-Fi off here and back on in a second, just to reset everything, right? Okay, we hit save and apply on that. Well, see, yeah, of course, we're disconnected now. Got to put it up back on Wi-Fi. There we go. TP Link extender connected. Perfect. Try again. Resend. All right. Save and apply. Yeah, we're good. TP Link extender 2.4G. So let's do another little test. See if we got a little faster. Again, this is the fun of third-party firmware and using the and trying these things out. Basically you need to work through it and see what kind of tweaks you can get to make it work. Well, see, yeah, it's still. I saw that it just rebooted me. There we go. Nah, it didn't make much of a difference. Actually, I think it slowed it down again. Yeah. So let's go back here. Let's check it mixed, and let's just do both of them. It's down to full 20, which is what the original settings were. These were the original settings. Save and apply. Again, this is not a fast extender. I mean, it's an 11-year-old router turned into a repeater extender with 100 megabit Ethernet ports and 2.4 gigahertz, like N, right? It's pretty ancient by most, basically most technical specifications. But it works. And if you need to extend it, and that's all you've got is this router, or extend your network, and all you have is this router, it will work for you. It will work fine. In fact, it will. For me, I can actually mow the lawn in the backyard and listen to my podcast while connected to this router on Wi-Fi. Pretty cool, right? It works for me. Now, it may work for you or me not. But like I said, this is a very, very basic router. I'm going to show you how to do this with more advanced, faster routers. And basically, they'll be much quicker than this. So now we've got that all reset. We're still on Wi-Fi, I believe here. Yeah. Yeah, we are. You see, that slowed it down even more. So let's go back. Take that back to 40. Actually, leave that on mix. We know that's quicker. Back to 40. Save and apply. Again, you set it any way you wish and play with it and see what kind of speed you can get out of that system. Outside of this, we're basically done. Again, remember the switch if you want it to go faster, and actually the fastest way to connect to this thing is through Ethernet, which makes complete sense. There we go. Let's do it one more time. Yeah. Now, there is one thing I forgot, and I'm going to do it here because just to show you something, that not everything is because of the router. Okay, let's go to Edge, Microsoft Edge here in private browsing. We're going to go to 192.168.1.2. Yeah, we can connect to it. That's great. We're going to go to speed test. There we go. This is still running, so I'll let that finish. Yeah, it's on 40. Save and apply. I'll do that again. All right, so now we're on the Edge browser, the Microsoft browser, okay? Same server, same everything. I'm going to hit allow on this. Yeah, I rebooted. I said save and apply, so Wi-Fi is rebooting. At this point, it will connect here in a second. Yeah. This will be slightly faster on this browser. That's what I wanted to show you. Ah, there we go anyways. More or less the same speed. So that's it for my video. That's how you configure this router to turn it into a Wi-Fi repeater or extender, as it's called. And basically it will do exactly what I showed you how to do here on this video. If you guys find any tweaks that make it faster, that would be great. I'd like to know. Just put it in the comments section below. Anything you want to say to me, questions, video suggestions, whatever you want to communicate to me, put it in the comment section. I do check them regularly and respond to them generally daily. Again, if you like my channel and you like my content, please subscribe. You hit the subscribe button. As part of that, you're going to get a bell icon. Hit the bell icon and choose your notification settings. At that point, anytime I put up a new video, you'll get a notification that I've done so, and you can watch it at your own leisure. Also, do me a huge favor. Give me a like. Give me a thumbs up at the bottom there. And that helps me with the channel become more popular. It tells YouTube you like it, and then that helps my channel grow. So please hit that as well. Video description, I'll have all sorts of links to all that hardware, including this router, and also DD-WRT, etc., etc. A lot of those are going to be affiliate links, and what that means is that when you go buy something like this Ethernet adapter, it's an affiliate link, and that means that when I get a little piece of that sale, and that helps me out and helps me keep this channel going. Also, it doesn't cost you any more than just going directly to Amazon and buying it. So do me a favor, use those links in the video description. I appreciate it greatly. Once again, and like always, take care of yourself, and we'll see you on the next video.